guys. How y'all doing tonight? I am the Florida man, aka Sean McFall, down here in Southwest Florida. Moose is sick. He asked me to help him out tonight. So let's keep Moose in our prayers and thoughts, and our members throughout the Confederation that are under the weather right now due to severe flu that's going around. Let's keep them in our thoughts and prayers. We got our executive director, Adam Sutherland. He's in the background right now. Hey, Paul, we're going to give the couple minutes, let everything build up. Hey, Bob. I had a great, my Saturday night was fun, man. Bob Highball's camp had Donnie Kennedy down for their Lee Jackson dinner up in Ocala, Florida. It was a great time. Seeing some of his members that I haven't seen for a while. Hey, Jason, good to see you. Hey, Charles. Wow. Hey, Al. Yes, do not adjust your television or anything like that. It is me, the Florida man. Like I said, a lot of our members are under the weather right now, so let's keep them uh, in our thoughts and prayers. Uh, hey, Keith. Keith, call me later. I want to know how your Lee Jackson dinner went. Hey, Kyle. Good to see you, sir. Ready. We got quite a bit of crowd, so let's bring up Adam Southerner and find out what's going on up at Elm Springs. Hey,
Hey,
Adam, how you
Sean.
doing tonight, sir?
I'm well. How's the Florida man?
I'm with all the Lee Jackson dinners going on throughout the state of Florida. I finally get to recover.
Just one question before we get started. I want to know what Kyle Thompson's drinking on tonight.
Good question.
You're a Kentucky boy. I know he has something.
Yes, that's right, sir. God only knows.
Oh, man. Yeah, it's Lee Jackson season across the South, so I hope everybody's having good events. I've been enjoying watching everybody's pictures, seeing them on Facebook, and Kyle's drinking coffee right now.
It's probably Irish coffee.
Yep, no doubt. Charles Ray. Hope
Hey,
everybody's
Jason.
staying warm in Louisiana. I think they had, I don't know if it was down your way, Charles, but Louisiana got some snow. So
North Florida got snow, 5
North
inches.
Florida got snow. It's kind of a wild winter.
I know. Coming back from Ocala, they had one of those flashing orange signs in Tampa. Be careful of ice on the bridge. I'm like, what? Like, what the hell's that?
Oh, boy. Well, we've got a lot of cool stuff coming up here at headquarters. Winter's kind of a slow time for us tourism wise, so I'm getting a chance to catch up on processing some artifacts and having some good events coming up later this spring. But wow, Charles Luray got 5 inches down to 6 degrees. Wow.
Yep.
It got cold here, but thank goodness we missed that wave of snow here. We caught some earlier in the month, and luckily it fell. It was just going into the weekend, so it didn't really impact Elm Springs and headquarters closing any. So I think we've closed one day.
Cool. Yeah, down here in Southwest Florida, we got the wind, we got the cold. We didn't get any snow, but we had rain for 3 days straight. Yeah.
It was wild pictures from those people that live along Panama City and posted pictures of snow on the beach. I hadn't remembered that happening in a long time.
Yep.
Let's see. Yeah, we've been processing some artifacts. I think I sent you some pictures of some things that we're processing right now. If you want to just go ahead and hop into it.
All right. Here you go.
All right. Yeah, we've got a lot of good paper stuff this week that we'll talk about. I went ahead and scanned some of the pieces so you can see what I'm talking about. This is a really neat piece from 1865, and it was an appraisal for a horse. So a cavalry cavalier under Wade Hampton's command. His horse was a big bay horse, appraised at $2,500, and you can see this is a receipt where he was paid for that in February of 1865. Just a really cool piece from last year of the war. You don't really see these very often. I haven't seen these very often. We're slowly building up our collection at the museum when it comes to paper things. We're getting some cool letters in. We recently donated 3 letters from the war, and I didn't get a chance to scan those today, but just really neat the things that we're starting to get at the museum. And this is just one of those pieces that really tells a story. And you have to think this is February 1865. By April, it's all over. So, waning days of the war, $2,500 Confederate for our horse. And wonder what that horse would have been prior to the war, before inflation. Let's see what we have next there.
Yep.
One of the camps, the General Joseph Johnson camp in Nashville, I'm talking probably 20 boxes of materials were donated from that camp's archives. And they were once stored at the Nashville Public Archives, and they transferred them to the National Confederate Museum. And as part of the files, somebody was a very good historian in that camp, and they subscribed to pretty much every newspaper in Tennessee, it looked like. So anything that came up about the war between the states, about the Sons of Confederate Veterans, they made a clipping of it. And this one was in the 1994 Columbia Daily Herald, and it talks about Simeon Cummins, who was, of course, a lieutenant on the CSS Alabama. And while they were doing some hunting there, they rowed ashore to do some hunting. As they were rowing back to the Alabama, a shotgun went off and killed the lieutenant. So they buried him. Since they were close to land, they rowed back to shore and buried him there in Cape Town, South Africa. And from 1863 until 1994, the family that owned this farm cared for his grave. And the Sons of Confederate Veterans, once we had a permanent headquarters, we were purchased in 1992. 1994, they go and they retrieve Simeon Cummins' remains, and they bring him from Cape Town, South Africa, to Columbia, Tennessee. And this is a photograph and an article from the Columbia Daily Herald talking about the disinterment of Simeon Cummins. And I just found this very fascinating to read what was going on. Columbia back then was very glad to have headquarters there, and I'm hoping that Columbia is still glad to have us there, and because we bring a lot to the local economy. This event really brought thousands of people to Columbia in 1994. They were talking about later on the thousands of people that showed up to not only watch the procession but march in the procession. And it was really, and really, it was about a 3-mile stretch. It was a long procession that they walked from the funeral home in downtown Columbia to Elm Springs. And I wish I would have been a little kid at the time when this happened in Columbia. I don't really remember it, but I wish I had been there to see it. As I find more about this in the archives that was recently donated, I'll be scanning more of it. But this is really a treasure to be able to see these photographs, and kind of timely too, because I've been in correspondence with a student at St. Andrews University and he grew up in South Africa, and he's been very interested in Simeon Cummins all of his life because he grew up hearing about the CSS Alabama. So he's wanted information from us about it. We were able to supply him with things. His father went out and took photographs. Simeon Cummins' original stone still stands in the little cemetery there in Cape Town. So he took
Wow.
pictures of that and sent them to us, and been able to share information back and forth with him. It's been really cool, and he's working on a dissertation about Simeon Cummins in Alabama.
And a quick question as we're talking about Simmons and that possession. Was there in the Confederate Veterans that came out back in '94? Was there
Mhm.
anything in any of those magazines?
There was quite a bit. So I've been able to scan information from that too, and it's
Wow.
been a treasure trove. We're lucky that we have a complete collection of Confederate veterans. We're able to uh, see our organization's history really by going back and looking at these Confederate veteran magazines. And but yes, they've been a very big help in trying to research what happened in '94.
Wow. Ready? You ready for the next one?
Yeah. Yeah, so here's some more papers that were donated. This came from one of your Florida compatriots. He donated these to uh, Commander Boshears when he was in Florida, and several letters were included in this donation. And this was, I think, my favorite because this was is probably one of the earliest examples I've been able to find of our current corporate logo. You can see it in the top left corner of that scan there. The logo that we use, our membership logo, our corporate logo. This was 1914, so we've been using this for well over 100 years now. This was written by, uh, and it doesn't say at the bottom, but if you can see his name in the letterhead, Nathan Bedford Forrest. This would not have been General Nathan Bedford Forrest. This would have been his son. And one
Wow.
thing that I really like in here is he talks about what he thinks is the mission of the Sons of Confederate Veterans. And I believe it says, we believe that our work is co equal with that of the veterans themselves. And in some respects, is more vital importance because the reason that the thin gray line is becoming thinner and that there are needy veterans and their widows to look after and care for. And the question of a true and accurate history to be handed down for posterity rests in our hands. And that's really our mission right now because that uh, true and accurate history we're still working on and trying to present to the public about what happened during the war between the states. So just be able to see what Nathan Bedford Forrest II thought about the Sons of Confederate Veterans. And this was a packet that he sent out to Jacksonville, Florida. It looks no, Jacksonville is where he had his headquarters. So
Yep.
he sent this to Lamont, Florida. Am I saying the name of that town right, Sean? Is Lamont?
From what I'm making out, I agree with you.
Okay. I'm not
But
familiar where that's at in Florida. Are you?
no, sir. There's a lot of very small towns throughout the state that I'm not familiar with. Most of them, if it's South Florida, I'm familiar with.
But this was a recruiting letter. He was trying to get Mr. Armstrong to find enough members to create a camp there in Lamont, Florida. So I'm not sure if that ever came to fruition or not, but because of this letter, uh, we're able to see, of course, our corporate logo. I think the next page is a copy of the letterhead or the envelope cover that it was mailed in. And uh, Nathan Bedford Forrest II must have been a snowbird. Uh, Probably went down to Florida during the winter. It says his general headquarters was in Jacksonville, Florida until May 10th, 1914. After that, it was returning to Memphis, Tennessee, where he lived. So imagine he wintered in Florida. Um, and you think it's just a beautiful cover there.
Oh yeah. Lamont, Florida is southeast of our state capital.
Okay, it makes
Well,
sense why he was wanting to have a camp there. Yeah.
yeah. Over by, yeah, it's to the east and a little bit to the south of Tallahassee.
Okay.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, on the next image I have was also a part of this packet, and it was a sample constitution for the camp in 1914. And I don't think this camp was ever formed, but if they were, they didn't use the packet because everything was left blank. There was no camp name or number or any county or state information put on it. So it's given us a really good example of what a early membership packet or camp packet would have looked like in the early 1900s. And our organization was founded in 1896. So this is just less than 20 years after our founding. Good early information about the Sons.
I'm currently doing some research right now to see if there was a camp. Yeah, just like that, to answer your question, if there was ever a camp in that area
Mm-hmm.
already.
And this is something else I found in the Joe Johnson camp files that were donated. And this answers a lot of questions for me anyway, because a lot of people will ask about old SCV records, and we don't have them. And this was another one of those inquiries sent in 1965. And they wrote to General McCain asking for original files on Camp 28. And he said that most of the files were destroyed before General Headquarters was moved from Richmond, Virginia to Jackson, Mississippi. So there aren't a lot of original files. That answers our question as to what happened to them. They were destroyed before the move took place to Jackson, Mississippi. So that was a good find for us. It lets us know that, we're not crazy. Those files don't exist anymore.
To your question earlier, the two closest camps, one is in Madison and Monticello.
Okay. Good deal. And this one was recently loaned to the museum. This was a great piece from 1911, and it's the Forest Cavalry Corps. So this was made up. It was a post-war. It ran in conjunction or congruently with the Sons of Confederate Veterans. This was an organization for men that rode with General Forrest. And some of their medals, they had beautiful three-piece medals that say Forest Cavalry Corps, and they had General Forrest on the medal. It's a very highly reproduced medal, but if you can find an original one, they're about $1,500 up. Most of them go for about $2,000. We don't have an original one in our collection. If anybody has one and would like to donate one to the museum, we'd love to have one. But this was recently loaned to the museum, and it was a letter from the current commander of the Forest Cavalry Corps. And he's writing in this letter plans about the 1911 reunion for Confederate veterans, which was to be held in Little Rock, Arkansas. And I think the cavalry, the old Cavalry Corps, was going to ride horses in the parade of veterans. And they're talking about if you want a horse, you need to go ahead and reserve one. And it's just a really neat piece to have. And again, we had the letter and we had the letter cover. And it really makes a good package to see both of them.
So if I go on eBay trying to look for this medal, most of the time it may be a fake or a copy.
Yes, I would be very careful about the medal if you're looking to buy one, especially. I've stumbled upon some before, and I thought, "Oh man, that's awful cheap. I'm going to buy that." And take a second look because chances are it's probably a reproduction.
Okay, thanks, Adam.
And this is a federal piece, but one that's of note. This was a certificate of thanks, basically, to a federal soldier that served in the war, and he was one of the 100 Days men. And in 1864, they were having a hard time up north. Lincoln's facing re-election, and they weren't being able to recruit as much as they wanted to. So they recruited men to serve for just 100 days. And they thought if they could have these 100 days men and they could have their veteran soldiers go out and do the fighting, these 100 days men could go and do all the chores and garrison work. And it worked. They were able to keep their veteran soldiers in the field. So this was a certificate of thanks to one of those men that served as 100 days volunteer
Wow.
there. So kind of a neat piece.
Yeah, it is. Do you need a break, or do you want to go in and talk about the stuff at Elm Springs?
Let's go ahead and take a break, and then we'll go ahead and do the modern day stuff.
Okay. Since I where ready. I'm trying to find the video.
Want me to sing the Pop Tart song?
If you want to.
No, we better not. Is Carl Jones in the chat? We can bring him on to sing it.
Yeah. Well, if you want to take a break, I'm going to answer some of the questions in the chat, though.
Okay.
Jason, which one are you talking about? The one that was held in Tampa? I did recently find documents, and a member up in the Tampa camp found a flag of the UCV reunion that was held in Tampa. Is that the one you were talking about? Hello. Hey, Robert. Good to see you.
To answer or reply to Lloyd Mock there, yeah, that event that took place in Little Rock, I was reading about it. They said it was the largest event to ever take place in Little Rock, and was not passed until election night when Bill Clinton was elected to president. So since 1911 to the 1990s, that was the largest event to ever take place in Little Rock, Arkansas, was that Confederate reunion.
Wow. I did not know that. That's cool. All right. Anybody have questions for me? We're taking our somewhat break, and so feel free to ask questions. Yes, Jason. Yeah. From what I gather, yeah, about 1914 in Tampa. Hey, Beth. Alrighty. No more questions or anything. Still need a little bit more time, Adam, or do you want to go keep rocking and rolling?
Yeah, let's just rock and roll, son.
All right.
All right. Here's some items in our gift shop. This is a relatively new addition to our gift shop. We have some battle flag totes, and these have been tested by the ladies in the gift shop as well as some of the men. They love them. They're great to carry with you. Take them to the grocery store with you. Be a good Aldi's bag. But yeah, these are. I think this is the second stock of these. We sold out the first stock we had in the gift shop and had to reorder more. So, been one of our best sellers here lately. And this has been one of my favorite items of these Dixie thermometers, and they really have a good look to them, kind of a vintage shape to them. I'm going to have to get one for the shop here at the house. But yeah, they reminds me of the old Dixie gas stations that they used to have. That logo up top kind of reminds me of that. But cool thermometers, cool belt buckles, just a lot of different stuff coming to the store. So always be sure to watch on the SCV store online. Go to scv.org and then click on shop, and you can see all the new items to the store.
Cool.
This past weekend, we had a busy weekend there at Elm Springs. We had a party over in the rental room at Elm Springs, but in the museum, in the library, we had the Tennessee Division UDC. The officers had a meeting there in the library. So here the ladies of the UDC, they took a picture by the Confederate Memorial Hall wall at the museum. But glad to have them there this weekend. They were they're always a fun group. Glad to have them there. And talking about opening Saturdays at the museum, this is a list of our open Saturdays. Of course, 25th was this past Saturday, but February 1st, which is this Saturday, will be open. Then March 8th, and that is March 8th is also our GEC meeting. So if you are an SCV member and have never been to a GEC meeting, you're welcome to attend. They usually start earlier than I like. I like about a 9 o'clock meeting, but they've been starting about 8 o'clock. So I haven't heard when this one will start, but I imagine it'll be March 8th at 8 a.m. And we'll meet at the museum. And if you're an SCV member, you're welcome to attend those. But the museum will be open that day as well. So plan on seeing us that day. And then March 29th will be open. We haven't selected a Saturday for April yet. April is busy with reunions, different division reunions. And I know I'll be traveling a lot to different places. I'll be in Missouri at their division reunion. I may be in Mississippi for an event in late April. So I just haven't been able to figure out which Saturday I'll be available to work. And you have to remember, we don't have any dedicated museum staff. Everybody that works for the SCV has been wearing multiple hats to keep the museum open. And most of these Saturdays, I'm the one that's been working them. So if you want to come see me one Saturday, come see me. I'll be working any of these Saturdays that you see listed. And we're open from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m.
Speaking of March, we got fall officers call for the mechanized cavalry.
Yeah, that'll be coming up in February, right?
Yeah.
Yep, so looking forward to having y'all there. And of course, come in and see us on Friday and do all your shopping, get all your good SCV merchandise. And we'll have the SCV, the meeting room there at Elm Springs ready for you there.
Cool. Ready.
Also in February, our annual event that's been very popular over the years, a Valentine's dessert party. And February 15th is the date on that. Miss Kayla and several other of our volunteers are getting to work making desserts for this. And of course, I love to sample everything Miss Kayla makes, so I'm looking forward to it as well. $15 a person, or you can get 2 tickets for $25. And all proceeds of this go to benefit the restoration of Elm Springs. And it starts at 6:30, I believe, and at 7:30 there will be a tour of the house, and I'll take people through the house and give you kind of a low light, candlelight tour of the home and tell you about the restoration plans for Elm Springs going forward.
Cool.
And this was just a beautiful picture, I thought. We had some snow earlier in the month and was able to sneak up there and get a picture of Elm Springs in the snow. The old girl's pretty any time of the year, but I think she looks especially pretty in the snow.
Yeah.
And of course, here's the beautiful museum as well. And was able to catch the sun behind the battle flag there. And we have 2 cannons, and we haven't had an official dedication of these cannons yet, but I believe it was Camp 215 in Memphis. They brought these cannons to us, and they're going to be on permanent display there at the museum. The flag that you see there, I don't know if we haven't talked about this a while on the show, but we have a a flag program, and you can sponsor the flag that flies there each month. And at the end of the month, when we take it down, I'll send you the flag. And that's been a very popular program. We've got about a 2-year waiting list on this flag.
Wow.
So, yeah. And we're
If somebody
thinking,
wants to get involved with the flagging program, do they? Is there a form they got to fill out, or do they contact HQ?
yeah, there's a form, and every now and again, Frank Powell will put it in the veteran. But if you go online to scv.org and go to forms and documents, it's under Keep It Flying. And it's a beautiful embroidered 6 foot by 6 foot by 10 foot flag. So it's a good size flag. It would
Cool.
have to be. That's a nice 40-foot pole out there. So
Yep. Farmer Jam, Carl. Good to see you, buddy. David, Christopher. Good to see you guys. Come on, we got Adam. Feel free to ask questions.
yeah, I was going to say that's the end of our picture. So the rest of the night, I'm just want to answer questions from y'all if y'all have any. A lot of questions I've been getting. We'll go ahead and say this: the 21st Century Confederate Heroes Program. We're starting to get. We should be pretty much caught up on individuals that have signed up for this program. So if you're an individual and you've paid in full, your neck ribbon should have been shipped out to you. Now we're starting to work on camps, and we've already gotten probably 30 camps taken care of right now, and we're slowly working on the rest of those. Our vendor can only make about 50 streamers. So we're going to send out what we have in the streamers and then wait on the rest of the shipment to come in. But if you are a camp and you signed up for the 21st Century Confederate Heroes Program, just be patient. Your packet is coming in the mail.
Adam, I have one question to ask you because I'm getting this question.
Okay.
Uh, did Eric Pavetti get help? Get any more help, or I don't know
Yes.
if you're. Oh,
Yeah, luckily he did. Actually, we have Robert Juleson in Minneapolis. He's been working part time for us, and he comes up one day a week, and he works from home 1 or 2 days a week as well. So he's been a great help to us there at headquarters, and we also have a lady that's been starting with us, April, and her first day of training was this past week. So if you call up there and you get a lady, that's Miss April, and she's learning, so be patient with her. But Eric is slowly getting back up to where he needs to be. But thanks to Robert, we were able to catch up, and we got through the dues process pretty quickly, a lot better than we thought we would. And we're in good shape staff-wise.
cool. Yeah, because I know the for my camp down here in Naples, Florida, membership processing has speeded up. So that's good to hear that Eric has some help up there.
Absolutely. Are there any other questions out there?
Uh, the heads might be burning. Thinking of some.
Yeah, we've got a pretty good staff up there. I'd like to brag on them a little bit. I think they've done a really good job. And Jill is our sales manager. She does a good job getting new merchandise in, and has a lot of great ideas. Right now, she's been sewing. If you signed up for the 21st Century Confederate Heroes, she's been sewing your neck ribbons. So,
Wow.
I mean, this is really people have been wondering about when their items going to come. But be patient with us. I mean, we're having to do everything in house, from sewing the neck ribbons to shipping it all out and printing the materials, getting it out to you. So,
Uh, I just thought of a question since we're on the subject about the 21st
Mm-hmm.
heroes. I know individuals they get the neck ribbon and the medal. What do camps get?
Yeah, the individuals get a beautiful neck ribbon, and you get a brick or, excuse me, a paver with your ancestor or whatever information you want to put on it. You get 6 line of text, whatever you want to put on it. You'll get a screen on the PowerPoint presentation that will be in the entryway of the museum. You'll also get a page in the book. Camps that sign up, instead of a neck ribbon, you get a streamer that you can put on your camp flag.
Oh, okay.
But you also get the same paver with 6 lines of text. You get the page in the book, and you get the slide in the presentation that will be in the entryway to the museum. So
Cool.
and of course, your name will also be put on a. I think they said a. I don't know if. Well, I don't want to speak out of turn. I'm going to stop there, but uh, you will also be, if you sign up for 21st Century Confederate Heroes, there will be a flagpole at the Forest Plaza when it's put back up. And the flag that flies there, the first 12, so for the first year, will draw a name out of everybody that signed up for the 21st Century Confederate Heroes. So you have a chance to win one of those flags that flew over General Forrest's grave. So that's really cool.
Yeah. That's cool. So yeah, so there's a lot more to it. Okay, that's cool, and I'm glad you cleared that up, Adam.
Mm-hmm. And of course, huge news is our museum's paid off. I mean, the debt that we owed to the bank, it's gone. Now, of course, there's still the Brooks Fund, which the SCV borrowed money from itself. We have to pay that back. So, but it's not like we owe a bank anymore. The SCV can't foreclose on itself. So, which we were never in any danger of that happening. We were making our payments, but it's good to have that debt paid off to the bank. Now we have to work on paying our funds back. So the 21st Century Confederate Heroes Fund, some of that money was going to go to pay off debt. So it will still go to pay off debt. It's just going to go back to pay off the Brooks Fund. But it's also going towards the restoration and the re-erection of the Forest equestrian statue in the Forest Plaza. And that's a really important project that I'm excited about. We're starting to a committee has been formed, and they're going to be making plans to get to work as soon as it's spring and it's drying out. We're ready to get this thing moving. So I'm hoping that within the next year we can have General Forest up.
That's cool.
Yeah, I mean that's going to be huge. So, I mean, because what have we always said? They take them down, we put them up.
Put it up.
That's right. So we're going to be putting it up.
Just like Paul Gremlin said about a year ago. As soon as all that's done, then we can have a hootenanny.
That's right. I'm ready for the hootenanny. We started talking about Jill. She's our sales manager. She has a staff of 2 people, Samantha and April. And April is pulling double duties. April is, I mentioned her earlier, she's going to be working part-time for Eric. And Eric, of course, is over our membership office. And Eric has Robert and David, and now April working for him. And then Cindy White is our longtime office manager, and she's been there for over 20 years. She is our longest serving SCV employee, and she's a treasurer. And then there's me. So we are a small crew, but we're very dedicated, and they're a really good crew. Glad to work with such people. We keep HQ going.
Cool. Hey, Wes, good to see you. Here's a question that came up, Adam.
Okay. Yeah, at some point we will be, but right now we have to get some of the other debt off of us. So we still have to make payments to the Brooks Fund, and when we'll be ready to hire some help, but At some point, we will be able to.
Cool. Keep those questions flowing. You can ask me questions or Adam, either or. Yeah, Moose got lost in the woods and got sick. So keep him in your thoughts and prayers. Somebody told me it was at moose season. You know,
Poor
I
Moose.
know. Yeah, I'm gonna pay for that later. Oh, I I just found this question. Uh, how's the artifacts coming with the uh in conjunction with the UCV?
You know, we have a good collection of UCV artifacts. We have a lot of UCV medals. We have a couple of UCV uniforms, and I'm talking to a lady right now that has a UCV certificate that she would like to possibly donate to us. And um,
Ooh,
it's a lot, you never know what's going to come through the door. That's kind of the cool part about it. You never know what you're going to find or who's going to call you and what they're going to have. And, there's a lot of stuff out there, and new stuff's being discovered every day. So, um,
well, that
just never know what's going to come through the doors. A lot of it has just walked through the doors. Said, "Hey, I've got this. Would y'all like to have this?" And I'm sitting there going, yeah, we want this. Let's go ahead and uh, talk about this while you're here." And
that'd be a
luckily,
good that'd be a good spinoff. Uh, SCV treasure hunt with Adam Sutherland.
I know this past week I went to a lady's house in Nashville, and her husband was a longtime SCV member, and uh, books and prints have been the most items. The largest collections that have been donated to us. We've got tons of prints, more prints than we can ever display, and books. But books are great because if we have them, we sell them. We were able to do a used book sale at the museum, and we are able to. All that money goes to benefit the museum fund. So we've raised a lot of money selling used books. But if we don't have them, they go into our library. And we've got a great library that's really come along. We've got over 3,000 items that have been cataloged, and probably another 3,000 items or more that need to be cataloged. So the William D. McCain Library and Education Center, as we've been calling it, is a real treasure. And this past week, I had to get it cleaned up because that's where the UDC met. That's kind of my receiving room. If people will bring in items, that's where we process the artifacts in the library. And sometimes the table can collect items for a while because, like I said, we don't have a dedicated museum staff. We're all just doing multiple things. So, in between my SCV business, if I'm kind of slow and have a minute, I go and work on artifacts, work in the library. And the library is kind of that's where I go to kind of clear my mind. I like to work in the library, and we've been able to scan a lot of artifacts this week, the paper artifacts, get good scans of those. And I would like to have kind of a server where we can have and be searchable, where if you're looking for certain pictures or artifacts, you can search those and it'll come up with what we have in our collection. And that way we can have a collection that's not just in person in the museum, but also online, where we can have people visit from all over the world and spread the word of the Confederacy that way.
So you're hoping to get that on the website. Us that are doing research on our ancestors could go on the website and try to find it HQ has a letter or
Yeah, I mean, eventually I would love for it to be at that point.
yeah.
But right now we're just kind of in the beginning stage of that, just trying to scan what we have, and one day we can have it online where it can be searchable.
Wow. I hope so too.
Yeah. Yep.
Come on, guys. Keep those. I'm thinking of stuff. I can't do it alone.
I'm just kind of brag on Sean here. He was telling me that his camp's gone. How much has your camp grown in the past year, Sean?
Actually, within the last month, we went from 8 members to 14 members.
That's amazing. What have y'all been doing?
We had during Christmas time, we had a Christmas get together where we invited anybody in Florida was able to come. Uh, the biggest thing is active with our communities with cemeteries, making sure the communities know we're out there and involved with pioneer cemeteries. That's the biggest thing. Uh, we've tried a couple recruitment events at some bike fests,
Mm-hmm.
and that got us a father and 2 sons.
Yeah, I mean it's really amazing to me. I mean, before I was in the SCV executive director, I was a camp member, and I wasn't very active all the time. But I grew up in Columbia my whole life and didn't join the Sons of Confederate Veterans until I was in my 20s. So I think community involvement is absolutely right, and that's one thing that our camp's been working on there in Columbia is trying to get more involved in the community and trying to get out and work in the cemeteries, like you said. Uh, One thing that we did this past year, and we sponsored the local trick or treaters. They do a haunting in the district event in our historic downtown, and Camp 29 in Columbia sponsored that event. So our name was on all the banners as people walked in. There was a special thanks to SCV Camp 29. So just being able to get out and be active in your community goes a long way.
Yeah.
Especially lets people know we're not the boogeyman, because some people think we're the boogeyman.
Yep. It's all about perception, you know. Yeah, just like Adam had said, they may think you're the boogeyman, but if you're out there getting involved with the community, showing them we are not the boogeyman, we are good people, just keeping our Southern heritage and alive, and our ancestors alive. Like the cemetery I've taken care of for over 25 years. It all started. I thought it was abandoned. Got involved with it. Then the actual caretaker caught me out there. I'm like, I'm like, oh, this ain't gonna go good. That's in my head. No, he appreciated it. And so what I do, because he lets me do what I got to do for our Confederate veterans and other veterans in that cemetery, I clean with D2 and Orifice one of his family members' graves every year just to say thank you.
That's awesome.
And it pays off because anything that goes affects the Confederate veterans, I'm the first one to get called. And that's just, not just from him. That's also from the community.
That's great. I mean, it's interesting to see who's watching out there. My wife and I were talking about this the other day. She's the president of the Cemetery Association of Rose Hill Cemetery, which is the largest cemetery in Murray County, Tennessee. And there's over 370 Confederate veterans in this cemetery. And we cleaned the Confederate monument in that cemetery one week. Sprayed D2 on it. You know how it does. It will turn red for a while, turn that maroon color until it's completely clean. And we had several calls to the police which was kind of interesting. And I'm glad to know that these people are watching, saying that this monument was defaced or vandalized, and they were reporting it as good citizens. So I'm glad to know that there are people out there watching for our Confederate graves. And I doubt they were Confederate SCV members, but they're still looking out for our history and our monuments.
Yeah, because one thing I just got in the habit of doing, Commander Boshears in the Tennessee division gave me the idea. Uh, Remember those signs that they had up at this past reunion? The yard signs. I Every time I go to a cemetery, I stick one in the ground, and I've had two people come by and scan the QR code just to let them know, hey, it's SCV that's doing this.
That's a good idea.
Yeah,
Spread the word.
that's what we're here for.
Yep.
Uh, uh, you're right, Commander Jones. When the general public sees who we are, walls do come down.
Yep.
Come on, we got Adam. You got the Florida man here. Ask questions. We're not shy. If you were, we wouldn't be on this show. or mine Tuesday nights at 8 p.m. with Look Around Florida.
What are you talking about this week?
Well, we're gonna do a recap on all the Lee Jacksons that we've had in the state of Florida. I'm working on a guest right now. I got to send him a text or call him before I fire the word out that he's coming on the show, just to make sure he's ready. This guy, he's been overdue.
Yeah.
Yep, you're right. Get an active publicly doing the right thing. Yep, it does open doors.
Yeah. And I don't think we mentioned this earlier, but he said an active spring, and yeah, it's going to be an active spring. If you haven't already, mark your calendars for May 3rd, and that is the annual pilgrimage at SCV headquarters. So, and it's going to be a real big event this time because we're doing it in conjunction with the local camp. They'll be having a car show called the Southern Showdown at headquarters. So May 3rd, car show, Southern Showdown car show, and the SCV pilgrimage. And Ron Kennedy will be the speaker at the pilgrimage. And they'll be doing, floral tributes at the statue of Jefferson Davis at our general headquarters. So mark your calendars for that. And we'll be putting out more information about that in the future. But just go ahead and write that down on your calendar so you don't forget it.
Cool. Does that take place instead of the Rebel Cruising, or is that two different things?
Two different things. The cruise-in's always in July. We do it, I think it's the 26th of July this year. And that's Rebel Rouser Cruise-in. And it's just a for fun thing. It's a cruise-in. There's no entry fee. There's no trophies. So if you just want to come show off your car, come show it that weekend. The Southern Showdown will be an actual car show. There will be an entry fee for the cars, and there'll be prizes for the best of categories. So they had their first car show this past year, and it was pretty successful. And our cruise-in has always been very successful. So looking forward to kind of broadening that and bringing more people into the museum. So, and if you haven't already figured it out, May 3rd will be our open Saturday in May.
David, Atlas Preservation. That's the, that's just me personally. I go to that site and I get my D2, my scrub brushes, everything at Atlas Preservation. Uh, Adam, do you know of any others?
No, I think that's a good place. I've ordered off of Amazon before, but I'd rather support a small business like Atlas.
David, thank you for asking that question. That's a very good question. Uh, it's right around the holidays, like Veterans Day, stuff like that. They do discounts on bundles. Also, is everybody up at HQ getting ready for this year's annual national reunion
Oh boy,
in 24 weeks?
that soon, huh?
I'm going off the website. It has a countdown.
Yeah, I've been thinking about that, and the award season is just around the corner. Of course, that's a big deal for headquarters. We have to get all the national awards ready. So if you're a camp commander and you want to submit some of your people for awards, you need to start thinking about that and getting that into your division commander. And division commanders, you need to start thinking about sending that up the chain to national. And because the awards process is very lengthy and it's going to be here before we know it. So
Mhm.
go ahead and start thinking about who you want to recognize because a lot of people do a lot of great work out there. And an attaboy goes a long way. And I know none of us do this for the medals or do it for the awards, but an attaboy never hurts.
Especially if a camp member is going on his own, took a cemetery on his own, cleaning that headstone, and spreading the word of your camp, your division.
Yep, absolutely. So
Yep.
there's a lot of people that do a lot of good work that needs to be recognized. And like I said, nobody does it for recognition, but it's good to recognize people for the good work that they do.
Yeah. Yeah. I Yeah, I'm always thankful for the people that have put me in for awards. You know, I don't do this for awards, but it's nice to receive them when you don't know about it.
Yeah, when yeah, people recognize that you've been doing good things. It makes you feel good, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does,
Yeah,
and and that your efforts are going unnoticed. I mean,
yeah,
being
or not
noticed by,
going unnoticed. Yeah,
yeah, you know what I meant.
yeah, absolutely. So
Yes, sir. Oh, that's cool, Dave. Ooh, see, we did find stuff to talk about instead of 2 minutes after.
yeah, no kidding.
Time flies when you have good conversations.
David, you won some sort of award this weekend, didn't you? He's being modest. He's not going to tell us about it, but I think David was recognized by his camp as well.
Wow.
So I know David does a lot of good work over there in East Tennessee, and he's been a good friend to chat and a good friend to the SCV, and
Yeah.
he's been
And you
been a
can check
pleasure
out
to get to know.
his podcast. It's usually Friday nights. The Friends of Douglas Friedman. I believe. Did I say that right, Dave? It's usually Friday nights, and David, focus on a lot more history. Same with Michael Hardy on Sunday nights. Uh, So feel free to check. There's a lot of us within the SCV that are doing podcasts now. So feel free to check us out. Me on Tuesday nights. Uh, SCV Chad does Look Around the Confederation on Thursday nights. Yep, Friends of Douglas Friedman on Friday nights, and you got Michael Hardy, History Chat on Sunday nights.
A lot of
So
good historians out there doing the good work. So we at headquarters appreciate all y'all do, and it doesn't go unrecognized. Believe me.
Thank you for that. Ready? Oh, okay. Ready. If nobody else has any more questions for me or Adam, we're gonna wrap this up. We'll give it a couple more minutes for people to have, if they have questions.
If we don't know the answer, we'll be glad to make them up.
Or point you in the right direction, because we have some of our GEC right here. Thank you, Commander Moshears. He's one of them.
Yep. He's one of those people that looks at the phone and says, "Oh no, it's Adam again."
Do I have to cut the yard again at Elm Springs?
He's done that a time or two.
Yeah. So who are you going to put on the snowblower this week?
Hopefully we don't have any snow.
That was some awesome pictures, Adam.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, because I was just thinking the other day of hitting you up to send me a picture of what Elm Springs looked like with all that snow.
Well, be sure you follow us on social media. Elm Springs and the National Confederate Museum are both on Facebook, and we are we're always posting things about our museum, and I'm very active on TikTok. I share a lot of my TikTok videos through the museum page as well. So,
it's going to be kind of difficult to do TikTok right now.
No, we're back, baby.
Oh, okay. Adam, after we go through this, I have a question for you, but it's a private question.
Okay.
Right, gentlemen, it's great to see all you and hear your stories and everything. We're going to end the show with... Nah, I was going to click on Carl's Moose facts, but Moose ain't feeling good right now, so...
I go ahead and pick on him.
Okay.
Well, the guys are on the break now, don't know where they've gone to. Let's go to the kitchen and get ourselves a treat.
That was the video I was looking for earlier. Ready, here we go.
When my mother was in college, she danced with Confederate veterans. To me, it wasn't that far away. My father knew this. My mother knew this. Almost 50 years ago, I joined the Sons of Confederate Veterans. In those days, we weren't concerned about saving monuments or any of those things. That wasn't necessary. In fact, none of us had any remote idea that it would ever come up. We can't just sit there and react. We have to be proactive. Or, as Robert E. Lee said, the best way to disrupt your enemy's plans is to strike first. Everyone should do all in his power to collect and disseminate the truth, in the hope that it may find a place in history and descend to posterity. History is not the relation of campaigns and battles and generals or other individuals, but that which shows the principles for which the South contended and which justified her struggle for those principles. If you're looking for some place to be where you think you're going to accomplish something to save our history, go to the Sons of Confederate Veterans. I'm Thomas Lee Jesse. I'm a descendant of Private Daughtery Gilmer, a Confederate veteran.
Oh, okay. He did.